Travis Wayne Goodso. Back from my run, went early, found out that the neighbor was sure enough letting the dogs out at 3 purposely to avoid me when I was normally running at 4. And so I informed the dogs that I was aware of that today, as I also let them know that I'm okay. If you remember seeing that video, I'm the one with the wounds in the hands and the feet in the house of his friends. But I saw something in the sky as I was slowly moving along, a little sore, a little stiff. As I was getting near the railroad tracks at the pivot point of my run, there in the western sky, to my slight right, above the horizon, was a falling star. You know falling stars, Mormons, don't you? They're symbols of Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Anyway, so I checked to see what was going on in the heavens on my stellarium, and it's from the star Aquila in or Altair, sorry. Altair. There's an I in there. In the constellation of Aquila, which is the eagle. And at first I thought, a falling star that seems to have specifically been sent for me, because that was the only thing I saw, just that one falling star at that precise timed moment, because of the circumstances that happened the previous day. And so the immediate symbolism to me, without knowing the constellations and the stars, was first that it might be attacking Jupiter, but Jupiter is too far south to be that. And so, knowing that the western horizon is Omega, the last days, and as we're entering twilight, which is clear on the east side, that it seemed to be attacking as the fiery dart of the adversary, attacking the latter days, sort of a sign of Judge Wadup's siding with the church, and thus foreshadowing the doom that's going to come to the Mormons. I forgot to check Venus. I'll check Venus, because the moon should be getting closer to Venus now. Yeah, I'm not sure what day I'll check. But it's a waning moon, not a waxing moon. And the moon, as it was waning, sure enough, on the day of Wadup's dismissal of my case, was indeed the sacrifice of religion, as he sided with the Luciferian religion. And again, Mormons, it comes from the keystone of the Salt Lake Temple doors. Don't get upset with me and fulfill prophecy from the Book of Mormon about the Mormons getting upset with prophets that condemn them for their wickedness. I shouldn't have to tell you this. You should know better, but you don't. Instead, you'd rather fulfill the evil prophecies. But when I checked my stellarium, I went, oh, because Aquila has the eagle, is not just an eagle, because the United States is the eagle. That's the symbol of the United States. And right now, America is conquered by Lucifer, the government portion. Church is Lucifer's religion. America is now Lucifer's government. And so the eagle was throwing a fiery dart of the adversary, a falling star, towards the head of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the one who battles the serpent and is considered the throne of God. And so the eagle, instead of helping Ophiuchus, was actually attacking him. However, the history, the eagle is the one who provides the thunderbolts, lightning, to Zeus. Zeus is Ophiuchus, the throne of God, on Mount Olympus. And the eagle provides the fiery darts, not as an adversary, but so that he can vanquish his enemies, conquer his enemies. And now it's starting to make sense. As I've warned you guys, we've got something coming. The eagle in the Old Testament, in Ezekiel, prophesies in a parable form. He even says it. I will now give unto you a parable. And in this parable, he talks about an eagle that goes to the cedars of Lebanon. Remember Lebanon? The capital of Lebanon, Babel, Beirut, in Lebanon. The attack there, that is the homeland for the last days Messiah, Christ. In the parable, not the actual home, the parable. The parable comes from Egyptian, because Osiris, when he is first murdered by Set, he is set afloat in a coffin, nailed shut with 9-inch nails. The hand that feeds. Or the Muppet Show that had 9-inch snails. But his coffin went up the Nile, because it goes north, because of the terrain. The mountains are in the south, so the water flows north. And it went into the Mediterranean and up to Babel, where it grew into a cedar of Lebanon. And thus is the birth of the branch that Jeremiah and Isaiah talk about. And Ezekiel refers him to both the branch and the twig, as the eagle takes from the lofty branches leadership. Jesus in the Gospels talks about lopping off the lofty branches of when leadership of religion or government gets too powerful and prideful that they neglect the rest of the tree. You have to trim them off. But in this particular case, the prophesied last days Messiah is taken by the eagle and carried to America. Now, you have to understand the full context of what I've been talking about to understand that it's America. Not just America. The San Francisco Bay Area, with Oakland, with the oak trees and redwoods in that area that are comparable, not the same species, but comparable to the cedars of Lebanon. What happened yesterday that MSNBC decided to ignore all else in the news to cover this all day after the announcement was made? A vice presidential pick for Biden. Kamala Harris is from Oakland. That's my hometown, but that's the location of the eagle taking from Beirut, a cedar of Lebanon, to Oakland, California. Do you see how creepy this is getting? And like I've told you, there's going to be an exodus. Section 103 of the Doctrine and Covenants says a man like Moses will be like Moses. He will be a Mormon. And what will happen is something that will cause destruction, that Mormons will have to leave Utah. And if you understand the Exodus story, what caused the Exodus? What was it that finally convinced Pharaoh to say, fine, go? The coronavirus. Killing off the firstborn of Pharaoh, meaning there was no successor to the throne of Egypt. That was a theocracy back then. America is not a theocracy. It is split. We have the government that is now controlled by Lucifer. We have the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, controlled by Lucifer. Just like Pharaoh. Do you see already, or do I need to spell it out in plain terms for you? I'm concerned of an attack or bombing in Oakland, now that Biden has chosen someone who grew up in Oakland. I hope's not. I hope's not. But like I told you, the enemy is purposely using biblical prophecy against everyone to destroy and prove that the prophecies are false by proving them true. Like I said, Mormons are fulfilling prophecy by hating me, by not liking what I'm telling them, that they're wicked. They need to stop it. They need to be good. And they just won't do it. They are in complete denial. They are in complete puffed up mode. Puffing up their chest. Oh yeah, Travis, we'll show you. We're going to beat you up. Oh, okay. Well, in case my landlord, we're kicking you out. And so, another interesting feature with this eagle is that the eagle was also used by Zeus to kidnap Ganymede and bring him to the Mount of Olives, because Zeus found him so cute and adorable. Don't I look cute and adorable? But remember, when Joseph Smith talks about in 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants, the Mormon, coded as Jesus Christ, stepping on the Mount of Olives, and an earthquake, and Jews, which are coded, remember, we're talking America, we're not talking Jerusalem. If you haven't caught on by now, Jews are Mormons. Mount of Olives just happens to be Mount Olivet, which is the cemetery across the street from the University of Utah, where my grandparents, my mom's parents, are buried. My grandpa was permitted, he has a free ticket to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery because of his service in World War II. But he wanted to be with Grandma, so he's there on Mount Olivet. But Utah also has a Mount Olympus. And interesting, he was supposed to be a waiter to the gods, a cupbearer. And this is how Mormons are going to find out about the true Messiah of whom they persecuted. Remember, Mormons are fulfilling prophecy. They're attacking any and all critics. Anybody who says that you guys are wicked, you need to stop it and behave. Mormons are attacking such people, thus fulfilling prophecy. And so, yeah, I thought that was interesting. But Zeus is also Jupiter. And Jupiter is the prophesied Messiah. So the eagle is supplying Jupiter as he is setting in the west. The eagle is providing him with lightning bolts. Mount Olympus, Utah. Maybe I should do maps. Olympus, Utah. Holiday, Mill Creek Canyon. Is it? It is. Oh, dude. It's straight east of me. Wow. That was the road I was going to take yesterday, had I not fallen sick and needed to heal myself with a long nap. Wow. Are you guys catching on yet? When is it going to take for you guys to realize, dear God, what have we done? It's also known as the vulture to the Romans. The Romans took over and turned the eagle into a vulture. So I was partially correct. The vulture was attacking Ophiuchus, who is the throne of God, who is the one who battles the serpent, who is Horus, who is the man-child, who is the man like Moses, who is the Mormon, who is supposed to lead the Mormons in an Exodus. Holy crap! Because yes, John the Revelator, all about the Romans and their evil Republican empire that overthrew the Greeks and turn the good into evil and the evil into good. Wow. Come on, there you go. We're going to need to download this as a file for the records, for the history books. Even though typically the history is written by the winners, so far evil is winning because good is dumb. Dark Helmet from I can't think of the name now. Spaceballs. Huh. Well, I'll be Uxodus, Eudoxus. You just switch the X and the D and you have Exodus. Okay, but Eudoxus is the one who mentioned it in the 4th century BC. Aratus in the 3rd century BC, prior to Ptolemy, who made it a constellation. Interesting. Or added it in his constellations of 48 constellations. My goodness. And again, remember, the vulture is a scavenger bird. Scavenger bird is a seagull. Or one scavenger bird is a seagull. And what did I just do earlier this morning? Posting a video of which the Mormon on YouTube purposely throttled the processing of. They will not leave me alone. They won, yet they will not leave me alone. But yeah, the Seagull Gate at Temple Square, with the inverted pentagram as the foundation of the keystone, pointing directly to the state capitol. As Judge Waddups confirmed, the federal government in Utah also is controlled by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Wow. That is wow. So yeah, that's based on the Babylonian constellation of the eagle. Yeah. Babylon, America, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because remember, section 1 of the Doctrine and Covenants, verse 16, Mormons, who's Babylon? Did you not know that 1981, the church service missionaries decoded the Doctrine and Covenants? Except they missed a few, such as Jesus Christ and Babylon in this passage. And Babylon has already fallen. Why is it going to fall again in the future? It's because it's not Babylon. It's a symbol, a code word. And the code word is dual because it refers to the theocracy of the ancient world, but in today's America, it is split. Ishtar, the goddess of Babylon, a goddess of Babylon, a head goddess at certain periods in Mesopotamian history, welcomes everybody to Immigration Island, as they see it in the port of New York there. And the inverted pentagram in Washington, D.C., pointing to the White House and church, which the Nauvoo Temple, I've gone over that. They put it in documentation. And that may have been what upset Waddups to the point where he said, "Screw you, Travis. Case dismissed with prejudice." Was that it showed that Brigham Young ordered the assassination of Joseph and Hiram, who are the Messiah symbols of Omega. sunstone. As the inverted pentagrams are above them, falling, just like I saw this morning. So it does seem to be a dualistic feature, as the Roman vulture attacking Ophiuchus's head, the last days Messiah, as I first initially thought it was, but then realized, oh, no, we've got something coming up very soon. Because in 2008, which none of you knew in advance, but I did, warned of an economic collapse. And within 26 days, when they turned on me, it happened. That was the official date. Even though it had been building up to that point, the official date was the bankruptcy of that one bank or corporation or whatever. It's 26 days later. And so 26 days later from yesterday puts us in the first weekend in September. But this is well known to be building up. Everybody knows this now. This should be no shock to anybody when it happens. And I'm not talking about just an economic collapse that we already have. You notice how those who invest in the stock market are doing just fine. It's those of us who require the 600, which is now down to 300, assuming that the states can pay out 100. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, they attacked Beirut. Trump called it an attack. Everybody is thinking, what is he doing? Is he crazy? It's not confirmed as an attack. Beirut hasn't said it's an attack. Listening to Reuters, what had happened was that a Russian transport ship had docked, but the Beirut authorities did not follow their protocols for the substance contained on it, which was like a bomb-making substance. And you have a whole tanker ship full of this stuff. And Beirut authorities and the port authorities failed to follow proper protocols and procedures. And as a result, you got the big boom. And now everybody's, protesting there now, upset about what happened. And so to have a Russian supplying bomb-making materials in Beirut, yeah. And so, who's buddies with Putin? Trump's buddies with Putin. And what happens after each and every single time Trump talks with Putin? Trump does something that Putin wants. And we find out what he wants after we find out from the Kremlin news that Trump had contacted Putin, because Trump won't tell America that he called Putin. And so, yeah, he's the dragon, Trump's the beast, and the false prophet. Take a wild guess. Because remember Nelson? What did he say in his first ever general conference as president of the church? In a major city yet to be determined in Russia. Yeah. Where's that temple, by the way? Why are there no members in Russia anymore? But wait a minute, you just sent this year 2 brand new mission presidents to Russia, where we don't have a mission, where we don't have members, where we don't have anything, and where we were supposed to have a temple, and yet we still don't have a temple. That Russia? Now, like I said, guys, if they're working for Lucifer, they're working for Putin. It's all prophesied, and Mormons are doing their part to attack anybody who points this out. Fulfilling Scripture. So the Jews were upset with Lehi. King Noah and his priests and the people of King Noah were upset with Abinadi. The Zarahemlites, the capital city of Nephi, were upset with Samuel the Lamanite. It's a pattern in the Book of Mormon. And Mormons are fulfilling the part of hating the prophets who say that they're being bad and they need to stop it. Mount Olympus is straight east. Wow. Ezekiel talks about that too. He says that this twig moves to the top of the mountains, Utah, which is phonetically the same as Judah. Guess who's acting as Judas? Which is the Greek form of the Hebrew Judah. Yep. I mean, it's not hard. Once you catch on to the pattern of symbolism, it's all very clear and simple. So when Joseph Smith said that Revelations is easy, yeah, it is easy. It's even easier now that it's happened. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? Yeah. Coronavirus? Kim Jong-un riding his white horse in the mountains of North Korea? The red horse of China, where it began. The black horse of the racist Trump. And then the pale horse of Putin. But, yeah, watch out, guys. I am concerned about an attack on American soil that will have trace elements to Putin. Whether it's a cargo ship in the San Francisco Bay, or proper protocols and procedures, but spiritual always comes before physical. And you may say, well, it was a physical thing, but Beirut is the spiritual homeland. The United States is the physical current homeland. And the birthplace of the Mormon who would be raised up to lead the Mormons in the Exodus like Moses. And so, yeah, what would cause people to go over Mount Olympus to head east and attack on the west? A fleeing, a destruction, causing fleeing. I hope not, but I've been on a roll these past few years. I've been early, but I've been on a roll. You do not want to bet against me. Or, as Wesley Snipes has said in one of his movies, never bet against black. And yes, I do have a line of black ancestry. Ancestry.com could not identify her. However, 23andMe identified her as coming from West Africa. And they also identified my origins in Egypt, along the Nile. Isn't that fun? So, you guys are supposed to figure it out yourself. I shouldn't have to tell you, because if I tell you, you're not going to believe it, and you're going to demand signs. You've had plenty of signs in order to know who the person is. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to let faith produce the works, not the works demand the faith.